My name is Michael Parker. I am 57 years old, and I live alone in my small house in Brighton. My wife passed away 8 years ago. I have only one child, my son Daniel. Daniel moved to Canada years ago. He lives there with his wife and 2 children. He has a good job, a beautiful home, and a happy life. But I stayed behind, alone. Every morning I wake up early, clean the house, and cook for myself. In the evenings, I sit in silence. No one visits me. Daniel rarely calls. Sometimes he sends money. Sometimes he says, "Dad, I'll come see you soon." But he never does. Even so, I never stopped loving him. I kept his old photos beside my bed and looked at them every day. Then one afternoon, someone knocked on my door. I opened it, and there was Daniel. I couldn't believe my eyes. I hugged him tightly with tears running down my face. We drank tea together and talked for hours. I asked about his wife and the children. They were all doing well. Then I asked why he had come. He smiled and said, "Dad, I miss you. You shouldn't be living here alone anymore. I want you to come to Canada and live with us." His words filled my heart with hope. I hesitated because this house held my entire life. It was where I was born, where I married my wife, and where every memory of our family lived. But Daniel insisted, "This house is old, Dad. In Canada, you'll have your own room, and you'll spend every day with your grandchildren." That night I couldn't sleep. The next morning he said, "Before we leave, we should sell the house. You won't need it anymore." I believed him. I sold everything. Daniel handled the money while I packed my belongings. Together we went to the airport. As we waited, he smiled and said, "Dad, stay here. I'll get you a wheelchair. I'll be back in 5 minutes." I nodded. 5 minutes became 15, then 30, then an hour. He never came back. My heart began racing. I kept telling myself, he wouldn't leave me. He's my son. A police officer finally walked over and asked, "Sir, are you waiting for someone?" "Yes," I replied. "My son is getting me a wheelchair. We're flying to Canada." I showed him Daniel's photo and our tickets. After checking inside the terminal, the officer returned with a serious expression. He sat beside me and quietly said, "Sir, I'm so sorry. Your son boarded the plane alone. The flight has already left." Everything around me went silent. I whispered, "No, that's impossible. My son loves me." But the officer had seen everything himself. I broke down in tears. He placed a hand on my shoulder and said, "Some people forget the hearts that raised them." Then he introduced himself. "My name is Robert Miller. You remind me of my father, who passed away 5 years ago." He looked at me with kindness and said, "Please come home with me. My wife and I won't let you stay here alone." At first I refused because I didn't want to burden anyone. But he smiled. "It's not a burden. It's love." That night I stayed with Robert and his wife, Olivia. They welcomed me like family. Olivia cooked dinner for me, and they treated me with a kindness I hadn't felt in years. The next morning, Robert received a phone call. He stepped into another room and came back with sadness in his eyes, though he tried to hide it. What I didn't know was that Daniel's flight had crashed. There were no survivors. Robert chose not to tell me because, despite everything, I still loved my son. I still prayed that one day he would return. As the weeks passed, Robert cared for me like his own father. He drove me to doctor's appointments, bought my medicine, and never made me feel unwanted. His home slowly became my home. One day he asked, "Do you ever miss your old house?" I smiled softly. I lost that house, but I found a family. I lost my son, but life gave me another. Sometimes the people connected to us by blood hurt us the most, while complete strangers show us the deepest kindness. What would you have done if you were in Michael's place? Let me know in the comments.